Hey everyone, I'm your nemesis, the Lemesis, but you can call me Lem. I'm here with a new video. This is something that I didn't think that I would be doing anytime soon, but I feel like I need to contribute a little bit more to give my insight and input on what's been going on in the community and with this particular game called Marvel Snap. So today I'm going to try to keep this video much shorter than I did the last one. I just want to go over my thoughts on where the game is right now. I'm not a really negative person. I'm very direct and I get straight to the point. But ultimately, if you don't want to hear anything negative about this game, then you probably should just leave right now, because mostly everything that I have to say right now is negative about Marvel Snap. As you can see in the title, these are the problems that I think are with Marvel Snap, and I'm sure there's much more. I just tried to keep this concise to focus on the things that bother me the most. And let's get started. So first off, I want to just state, I've stated this in my previous video, that I'm I guess what you guys consider a whale, right? The new kids nowadays using all these terminology and slang that I'm not used to. So you guys would consider me a whale. I've spent, unfortunately, thousands of dollars on this game, and I'm not proud to admit that. Now this is something that I don't usually do, right? I'm a huge fan of Marvel. I love Marvel. I love the MCU. Not really the direction they're going right now. That's a different video or a different YouTuber you can watch. But I own a majority of the Marvel games that have ever been released. I try to attempt to at least play every Marvel game that comes out within reason. Board games even so. So, you know, I'm pretty heavy in this. I even play one of the most nerdy Marvel games to ever exist, which is HeroClix, which I doubt most of you would even know what that is. So all this to say is I get heavily invested in things that I'm passionate about and in my hobbies. So that's the reason why I spend the money that I spend. I want to get the most enjoyment out of it so I can have the best experience. And then so far with this game, I am not having that. And I'm very disappointed because I've spent so much money in this game. And this is the second time this has happened to me, but not with a card game, with just a video game in general. The previous game that did this to me was Marvel Avengers. And fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's shame on me. There will not be a third time. So right now, I think we're in a similar situation that we were in with Marvel Avengers. Even though this is a totally free-to-play game, it is a drastically different game. You're not even able to play it on the same platform. I do think the developers, just like in Marvel Avengers, they are misguided. And they do not have a clear direction of where I think this game should go. So if I feel this way as a person who spent over $2,000 in this game, then I can only imagine how people feel who spent absolutely nothing or just a couple bucks. So if I'm feeling this way, man, it's bad. So that's the whole point of why I'm bringing this up. That you're talking about someone who spent a decent amount of money on the game because they believe in it, they're excited about it, they're looking forward to the future. And if my experience is this bad, then wow, you probably are having a really bad time, Mr. Pool 1, Pool 2, and halfway through Pool 3. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. So let's start off. We already know the ranking system. It's trash. As you can see, I'm ranked 43. Now, where are we in? We in the month of April. So last month, I didn't make it to Infinite because I didn't care. The month before that was in February. I made it to Infinite. And the month before that, I made it to Infinite as well. Actually, is it 2 months? Because we're in April. So yeah, last month was March, didn't. But February, I did, I believe. And then January, I did. And the previous month before that, I did as well. So when I started this game, I started in October, just like the majority of people. I pushed. I'm pretty sure I didn't make it to Infinite the first month. I was just trying to have fun. The second month, I grinded. I pushed. The third month, I grinded. I pushed. And then the fourth month as well. So I've made it to Infinite a few times before they made the changes to the ranking system. That's not to pat myself on the back. That's just to show you that I've played this game to the max. And right now, the way the ranking system is set up is just not worth it. And it's extremely boring. It's not even that it's difficult, because to be honest with you, it does feel difficult. But it's not difficult because the game is so hard. It's difficult because where you're wanting to go playing the game feels like a chore. It feels like a grind. It's extremely unnecessary. So I played the first month. I want to say, man, I wish I would have connected to Untapped GG and Marvel Snap Zone beforehand. I was predominantly a mobile player before. I played directly on my iPhone when I did play. But I spent, and actually I had these numbers on my phone because the iPhone gives you like the amount of time you spend in an app for how many hours every day, and then how many hours over a span of a week. So when I was first playing this game, I was putting in 8+ hours a day playing this game. So the first time I made it to Infinite, I had to play 8+ hours a day on average just to make it to Infinite by the end of the month. Now, the game was new and fresh at the time, so cards were being released very quickly. The excitement was really high. But then eventually, that started to dwindle off, which is what probably the majority of you are experiencing. So for me, it was like I'm watching the YouTubers, and they're creating these awesome decks, and I'm like, that looks really fun. I'm playing it for the fun aspect, right? Because I'm a huge Marvel fan. I come with a background of knowing a decent amount of the Marvel lore. So when I see a card like Galactus, I'm like, yeah, he's a big bad dude, right? I want to play him and just rock the board, right? I just want to have fun. But I think that Marvel Snap, or Second Dinner specifically, doesn't really want you to have fun. Their motive isn't about making the game fun. I don't really give a rip what they're trying to say. It's about proving it. It's about what you've done. And as you'll see in this video, they're not doing that. They're not making the game fun. They're making the game stagnant and boring and useless, which is probably going to be the reason why I'm going to stop playing. I hate being very definitive in my answers, so that's why I'm using the word probably. But I feel like I'm not going to be playing this game for any much longer. This is now going to be the second season in a row where I'm just not going to even try to push. Last season I pushed to 70 because I dropped. Yeah, actually no, it's been 2 seasons since I've been to Infinite, to be specific, because I dropped to 70. I didn't care that entire time. Dropped from 70 down to 40, and then, you know, now here we are again, another season. I went back up to 70, and then now I dropped back down to 40, and here we are. And I'm not going to even try to push to 50. I'm just going to drop as low as I possibly can, because this game is just not worth playing. The rewards are absolutely ridiculous. Look at this. You get, starting from the beginning, you get that stupid card back. This is just from season 1. You never go past Iron once you first start. Then you get 200 credits, boosters, 250 credits, a stupid title, 400 credits, a mystery variant, which is probably a trash pixel, 500 credits, and then, oh my god, at 80 you get an avatar. Do you know how hard it is to get to 80? And when I say hard, I'm not meaning difficult per se, just how much time you have to invest to get to just level 80 the first time around. It's retarded. It makes absolutely no sense. And for you to get to level 80 and you get this stupid avatar you're not going to use, or you only get 500 credits, it's totally unworth it. And then you get to Galactic and you get 500 gold, and then, oh wait, when you hit Infinite, you get this card back. But guess what? You can get just as cool to the card back if you just pay for the season pass and you just get to level 25 and you unlock this bad boy. So, logically speaking, there's no reason for me to try to push to rank Infinite. No reason. Because, first off, the rewards do suck, period. Let's not try to give Second Dinner this idea that the rewards are decent. You just have to make sure that you can only gain them in one particular area. No, these rewards are trash. But not only that, they know it's trash, which is why they give you different variants of the same exact rewards in the season pass if you pay. So it's telling. We see you. We see your tell. It's ridiculous. Stop doing it. So it's just not worth the grind. It really isn't. And when I pay for the season pass, I go for the premium. It unlocks the first 10, which, you know, it's whatever. It's just a couple extra bucks. Fine, that's worth it. But I normally go through and I finish the season pass manually by just beating, you know, certain aspects of the game, getting those missions unlocked. On average, I would say I end up, I want to say one season I ended up to like level 100 something. But that's not normal. I would say I probably average around the 70s to the low 60s is when I finish the season. But of course, this month, I'm probably just going to get that card that's at level 25 and then just be done. Because I just don't care anymore. And again, if this is how I feel, I can only imagine how you feel if you haven't spent a dime. The next thing I want to talk about is emoting. Emoting is so toxic in this stupid game, and I can't stand it. They need to implement a system where you can mute all players, because as you're going to see as I go through this, there's a lot of other negatives associated with this game, and when you pile on by having such toxic emoting, and then what's worse is that they've trained their bots to be just as annoying as some players, so you're not only getting, you know, pooned by the bot, but then also the bot is being a jerk to you just like normal human beings are. So we're paying Marvel Snap to make their bots jerks just to annoy us as we continually play their broken game that's not worth playing. So they need to change that. We need to have something in place to stop the emoting. Another thing is that people aren't really realizing is that this game is based off of gambling tactics. So not only is this game toxic when it comes to the emoting, it's toxic when it's based off of a tactic that destroys people's lives. So for me, it's not destroying my life. I can afford this, you know, very easily. I'm blessed and highly favored and deeply loved. Praise the Lord Jesus. There's the only way that I'm able to do this. So I'm thankful that I can spend that much on a game. But a lot of people, they can't do that. They're not able to spend that much money on a game, and it's really probably hurting their lives. And that's why I don't think Marvel Snap and Second Dinner, they say what they say when they get on these videos, but we know at the end of the day, even the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil. These cats want to make as much money as they possibly can. They don't really care about your feelings and your emotions and your well-being. If they did, they would at least make a game that didn't have the main concept of it revolving around snapping, which is gambling, right? That's just raising your bet, right? You're playing in poker. So, and what's funny about this is they make this game accessible to little children. So you could be 7 years old or 8 years old, and if you have a smartphone, now you could say that's on the parent, but you know, a parent would assume that a little kid couldn't get on their smartphone and go into the App Store and download a plus 18 style game, which this should be at least plus 18 or plus 21, but it's not. So the difference is what this game does to you psychologically is, instead of saying put more money down, right, to win each game, what you start to do is you look at you get beat by cards that you just don't have over and over and over again. So it gives you this unhealthy view of the game, making you think that if I had this card, I could win. And then you have other YouTubers who want to go rag on you for complaining about not having those cards when I'm the player who's beating you with those cards, right? I'm the one who's on the ladder beating the brakes off of you with these fun, cool cards, and you don't get to play them. But then I'm going to sit there and get on the YouTube channel and tell you how trash you are because you can make it to infinite. Yeah, you can make it to infinite if you grind for hundreds of hours a month. Yeah, you can make it to infinite, but nobody wants to do that. That's the elephant in the room. What they don't understand is they keep making that stupid argument that you don't need these cards. You don't need Galactus. You don't need Thanos. You don't need Null. You don't need any of these awesome cards that I have. But you kind of do. You know why you need those cards? Because you want to play these cards because they're fun. You're not necessarily playing those cards because you want to win. You want to play these cards to have fun, and you want to play these cards because you want to win. Unfortunately, you can't have fun, and you're going to struggle winning. And in order for you to play, you have to spend hours and hours and thousands of games playing this over and over and over again. And the majority of the games, or close to the majority of the games you play, you have to retreat. Which is stupid. This adds another element to the game that makes the game feel so terrible to play. That in order for you to be successful at playing this game and getting to infinite, you have to, let's say you play 2,000 games. I'm sure I easily played that for one season. Well over 2,000 games, you would have to retreat for over 900 of those games, which is extremely deflating. That's close to half of the games that you'd be playing. So most of the games you're playing, you're getting this negative feeling of like, I lost, I gotta retreat. Then you're getting emoted by people, putting their Miss Marvel emote, or the Spider-Man emote, or the thumbs up emote, and then they're spamming it in your face, and then you get beat by those cards that you just don't have, and then you start to tell yourself, if I had that card, I could win. We all know that's not true, but the point is, this game it's pay to win, and predominantly pay to have fun. That's what the problem with the game is predominantly. Everyone wants to win, because it's retarded to play this game and just lose over and over and over again. But you would like to have a nice healthy balance of I'm playing and I'm having fun, and I happen to be winning also, right? But this game has locked it in where you have to pay just to have fun, right? You can play these other boring cards that no one really cares about, and then yeah, if you really grind, you could take your Shang-Chi, and you can take the Swarm, and you can take your Quicksilver, and you could grind and make it all the way to the top with any deck in the game. But there are other decks that even if you had to compare the two, wouldn't you rather play a deck that was fun and you still grinded 8 hours a day because you played with cards that you enjoyed, you love the mechanics, you love the on reveal, you love the ongoing, you love the non-ability, Patriot, whatever it is. If you love the mechanic associated with it, it's gonna make that grind a little bit more better for you, right? But no, you gotta listen to these YouTubers who tell you this crap, who just try to convince you. Why? Because their motive is to make you watch their video so they get paid more. So they're gonna automatically be inclined to steer in the direction of not talking too badly about Marvel Snap. That's not what I'm here for. That's why I made this video, because I don't care if you don't watch my videos. I only put this video out so that whoever does watch it, hopefully I can start a ripple effect. Hopefully I can make a change where eventually gets to Second Dinner. They can hear a very high paying customer is extremely unhappy. I've gotten to the point where I used to spend so much of my time messaging their support team, and their support team is so incompetent and ridiculous that I just gave up on them. I literally wrote them and said, you know what, this is the last time you're going to hear from me. Just stop. We're done here. I've exhausted every resource that I have to try to communicate to this company. I've even tried to join their Discord just to get inside some of their channels, just to message them, and they have that locked down. So that's fine. I'm going to make this YouTube video, finish this up, and hopefully they get to hear this, and then maybe they'll make the change. If they don't, then it's whatever, right? Again, I think that if you complain about something, you should be willing to do something about it, and this is me doing that. So another thing is, you play too many cheating bots when you climb the ladder. I've sat here and tested Cubes lost versus Cubes won, the game style. It's so frustrating. You play these cards, you play these decks. I've tested it so many times. You swap your deck out every time you play mirror matches. You swap your deck out multiple times. Somehow your opponent always has the counter to the card you're playing. It's ridiculous. Again, it just keeps adding to, if you want to call it RNG, I call that BS. It's not RNG. They're controlling it. I don't care. It's about the specific question you ask. And even so, when you ask a specific question, I'm not like most human beings who are gullible to just believe that Ben Brode and Second Dinner are going to try to do the right thing, right? You can sit there and watch other YouTubers and other YouTube channels that talk about Hearthstone, however you want to pronounce it, and how he drove that game into the ground to where it is. And now you think this dude's going to take an even bigger license, an even bigger lore, and he's going to do something drastically different? I'm just not that gullible and that stupid to believe that. I'm sorry. And I do think you're an idiot to believe that also. You just want to have all this faith in these random people. I don't trust people, right? I trust the Lord. So, especially when it comes to my wallet, right? Not talking about your family members or your friends, and even those people you can't always trust, right? But you're going to just trust these random people? Get out of here. I've seen this happen, unfortunately, too many times, specifically when it comes to Marvel, right? I'm seeing it with the MCU. The MCU Phase 4 has been trash. I saw it with Marvel Avengers. I'm seeing it with this game. I've saw it with Marvel vs. Capcom 3 versus Capcom 4. I've seen it with so many different games. They keep doing the exact same thing. Thank God I didn't spend a lot of money on those games. I unfortunately got burned with just Marvel Snap and Marvel Avengers the game. So, and again, fool me twice, that's shame on me, but you best believe there's not going to be a third time. Now, the next thing, stop nerfing cards. Only buff cards. Here's a smart idea. You ready? If every card in the game is overpowered, then you achieve balance, because then none of the cards will be overpowered. But what they're trying to do is make every card in the game so negligible, so insignificant where you can't feel anything. So guess what? You have an entire game that's based off of these unexciting, boring cards. Everything is so dumbed down when you're dealing with Marvel superheroes. You're dealing with and villains. You're dealing with Bast, who is a god in the game. She's a female goddess in the game. You're dealing with Deadpool. These people and these heroes have powers. They're superhuman, right? Ebony Maw. Does a 1/7 really reflect the power of Ebony Maw? No, it doesn't. Now, I'm not trying to tell you to change every aspect of the game. I'm just saying you've dumbed down these heroes way too much. Every card needs to be overpowered, and you can achieve balance by having every card in the game overpowered. And here's the worst part. When they do nerf cards, they have such an illogical approach to nerfing cards. Now check this out. They view cards in a vacuum. Now, I don't know how many cards are specifically in the game. I'm sure if you go online, you can find that. But let's just give you a number. They nerf cards based off of a set number of cards that you're able to play with those cards at a specific point in time. But they clearly realize that they're going to be releasing much more cards over the span or the life of the game. So if they try to nerf cards now, and let's say today it's April 7th, they've been releasing cards since October. Before October of 2022, they had cards in the game, right? So if they had 100 cards in the game as of April 7th, and then they went and looked at the performance of a particular card with those 100 cards in the game, they can't get a proper evaluation of how that card is going to be when you don't have the remaining, let's say they want to release 2,000 cards in the game, when you don't have the remaining 1,900 cards that haven't been released in the game. So when you evaluate the performance of a Shuri or a Leader or a Leech, well, you have over 1,000 other cards that you haven't even released yet that are going to help balance this game out. But if you keep bringing a new card in, this is why they'll keep doing this. When they release cards, they're going to keep nerfing the card that comes out that's of any interest every time. So you're going to expect one of two things. If the card is of any interest, it's going to get nerfed. 100%. When the card is not of any interest, like Nimrod, it comes and goes, and you're going to feel cheated that you even spent $10 to $15 to even buy the card. So you see that with Silver Surfer, you see that with Zabu, and we're probably going to see it with Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey is going to become so overpowered, and people are going to be pushing this card, and guess what's going to happen? It's going to get nerfed. And they're going to probably make it a 2-1. And then you can't even use that anymore. Well, I guess you could in a in a negative nerfer deck. But my point is, they just keep doing this crap. They might even make it more expensive. They might make them a 3-0 instead of a 2-0. We feel like Hitmonkey is too much, and they're gonna write the little stupid blog post, which is again a very illogical way of nerfing cards if you're even choosing to nerf them. They keep avoiding the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is release all the cards you have available. At least have a massive player base of cards so that people can choose from. When you release a card, there should be more than one counter for every card. I would suggest 5 or 6 plus counters to every one card. If you do that, you should do it mathematically, figure out what number of cards you need to have in the game for that to work. Then the game can be balanced in and of itself. You don't have to keep looking at it week to week, day to day, month to month. You just give people the agency they need to choose the card they like and play the counters they want to play based on the cards they're tired of seeing. It's so foolish. So that leads to the next point. They're not releasing cards fast enough per season, and every single card they release goes straight into Series 5. That's a problem. You guys already know that. We can move on. And then I want to mention this, that I see YouTubers, including myself, who go, you know what, man, maybe we need to take a break. Bro, if you got to take a break, then your game isn't fun. When you having fun, right? If you need to take a break because you need rest, that's not taking a break. That's just saying, bro, I need to get some sleep. But when you actively say, let's take a break, like we over here, Ross and Rachel, let's take a break. When you take a break, that means you don't want to be in the relationship no more. You want to have fun with somebody else. It's not fun anymore. So stop fooling ourselves. And when we sit here and go, maybe we should take a break. No, Second Dinner's not here to teach you life lessons. Second Dinner is here to give you a game for you to just play. And if you feel like you have to take a break from playing this game, then the game sucks. I put over 2,000 plus hours into Marvel Avengers. Did you hear about breaks then? Nah, son. The only time I stepped away from Marvel Avengers is when a new game came out and I was like, yo, I gotta play this. This is cool too. But I went right back into Marvel Avengers. When I decided to take a break, the game is dead to me. When that happened, I was done. Didn't go back. So this idea that people have to take breaks and maybe that's just how you should play the game. Nah, son, if it's a chore, it's not fun. So another thing is they need to release an unranked mode immediately. And I'm tired of hearing this stupid excuse of, well, it takes away from the integrity of the game. No, it does not. Because what happens when you get to Infinite? You don't give a rip. So if you want to talk about how it takes away from the integrity of the game, then why do I hear every single time when a person makes it to Infinite, and when I've made it to Infinite, that at that point I can snap with impunity and it does not matter what happens, and I can have the most fun possible at that point in time, but somehow it takes away from the integrity of the game? No, that's actually the time when I have the most fun, when I can just snap and the game isn't revolved around gambling. And I know people want to be purist and say what they want to say about, well, you can't take away the snap mechanic, then what's the point of playing? Well, I tend to think most people who think that way come from previous card games, and they're not as heavily as a Marvel fan as they are just digital card games. Every time I've seen someone say that, that's the vibe I get. Like, oh, you used to cover Hearthstone. Oh, you used to cover this other digital card game. So you're just a purist. It doesn't really matter that it's Marvel Snap. It's a digital card game. So you focus on just the mechanics so the game would work. When the average fan is not you. I didn't come here because, oh man, the mechanic is so cool. I came here because it's freaking Marvel. So I want to play as Kang the Conqueror. I want to flip the time back. I want to drop the Galactus beam on the board. I want to throw the stones around and juggle them fools. I want to put my null down and be like, yo, what you gonna do? You can't beat this 95 null. That's what I want to do. Not this stupid snap mechanic. I give two rips about snapping. That's another thing. The negative association with the games happening too fast. And then when you finally get a good hand, there's no resolution. Even when you have a good hand, somehow the opponent just has the better hand. It pushes you to play illogically and you end up losing. There's no gratification game to game. You lose. The losing experience you have when you play this game has a much larger ripple effect than when you win. So they need to come out with newer game modes, and they need to come out with newer game modes faster, specifically in unranked mode. And they need to stop drip feeding the content. Another thing that I know is controversial, but restore cards back like Leader, Thanos, Arrow, Zabu, and Silver Surfer, and any card that was changed during beta. When you have Nakia, she should buff all the cards in your hand to +2, not just the 2 cards to the left of your hand. That's retarded. No one plays with Nakia. It's stupid. Just the bots play with Nakia. Or if you're stuck in pool 2 or pool 1, then you play with Nakia. It's so ridiculous. These cards are not fun to play. Guess what was fun to play? Thanos before he was nerfed. Surfer before he was nerfed. Zabu before he was nerfed. Leader before he was nerfed. Arrow before she was nerfed. But guess what happens? They nerf the cards, and now you just keep going back into your pool, into your cards, and going, okay, can I use this? No, can I use that? Now you already know Shuri's coming. Thank God I don't use Shuri that much, because it just pissed me off even more. So now if you're using Shuri, or you had her pinned in your token shop this entire time, don't waste any money on Shuri, because she about to get nerfed. These cats gotta stop this nonsense. That leads to the next point. The game is too expensive, and it has too many negatives associated with it. It's such a money grab. They nerf cards that we spend our hard money on regularly, all the time. And then the worst part is, again, for me, it doesn't hurt me financially, but I've spent money on accelerating my collection level. Right? I'm at over 9,000 something right now. Let's pull that back up. So my collection level is 9,164. I pushed to get the majority of the pool 3 cards very, very quickly by spending money on this game. And guess what? All the cards that I acquired as supplements to primary decks that I wanted to play, they've been nerfed by nerfing the specific card that I paid money to actually get. So I paid money to get Leader faster because I was one of those players getting rocked by a Leader. But if you can't beat him, join him. But here's the best part about it. If you can't beat Leader, whose problem is that? Second Dinner. Because Second Dinner should have cards out there that could have easily countered. And if you saw in my previous video that I did for like an hour, I talked about Nemesis counters. Now, even if you don't want to go that direction with Nemesis counters, there are so many other things you could do with this game that just release new cards that actually have counters to these cards. Then Leader can stay the same. Then I can have the fun that I had with Leader, with Thanos, with Arrow, with Zabu, and Silver Surfer. But then you just have that overpowered counter that I just got to deal with. It's just logical common sense. But again, they keep nerfing cards in a vacuum. They give you a series of cards, 100 of them, so to speak. But then they nerf the card with just those 100 in mind. Then they add 10 more, and then they nerf those cards with the 110 in mind. And then they add 20 more, and they do the same thing. If they keep doing that, then every card is going to feel extremely boring and extremely the same. It will not work. And then the worst part is, they keep changing the meta. We should change the meta. We should have the power and the agency to change it. I should see a YouTuber who goes, I just found this cool deck and it does this. Check this out. He should change the meta. She should change the meta. Nina is a noob should change it. Dara JN should change it. KM Best should change it. The Nemesis, I'm your nemesis. I should change the meta. Not Second Dinner when they drop a freaking patch. That's retarded. Why isn't everyone outraged by this? It's like everyone is so programmed. This must be this. I feel like you guys are all a part of like this cult following. All these digital card gamers are part of this cult following. You've been drinking the Kool-Aid. I have not been drinking your sippy cup. I have not been sitting here listening to the crap that you guys have been listening to, thinking that this is normal. It's not normal to nerf cards all the time. You buff crap all the time. And if something, guess what? If you play a game and you're playing against the enemy and they nerfed you and they nerfed this weapon, well then what do you need to do to counter that? Buff the enemy. Not nerf the card or nerf the weapon. You buff the enemy. Oh man, we made Iron Man too powerful, so he just blows through these enemies. Well, guess what we're going to do? We're going to buff some of those enemies so it's not as easy. You can still do what you were doing before, but we're just going to buff the enemy. You buff. You never nerf. You just buff. So then, here's another thing that I find quite interesting, and hopefully we can end this soon, is that I don't think the player base is as big as we think it is. So, I think the player base is pretty low. And I got some information to share with you on that. Check this out. Marvel Snap on Facebook. 35,533 people like this. 46,718 people follow it. On Twitter, Marvel Snap has they're following 111. That's just Marvel Snap directly. But then 150,000.6 followers. TikTok. They have 128.3 followers. Now, TikTok's probably the most popular social media platform right now because the youngest are using that. So that's a pretty good gauge, right? And then you go on Twitch. There's only 103,000 followers. Now, remember this? Like, I'm just trying to say something right now. I'll lead up to it. On Marvel Snap on YouTube, 119,000. And then lastly, Discord, 118,000. Now, let's think about this, okay? They have roughly an average of between 100,000 to 150,000 people. And then, if you go on Steam, again, I hate when you use Steam as a gauge because it's so misleading. But as of right now, on a Friday afternoon, they have 7,432 people in game on Steam. Now, remember, that's not everybody who plays the game. But to have only 7,000 people on Steam, and then the maximum amount of people you're seeing even following them on social media is about 160, 170, just to be gracious, you know not all of them people are playing the game. So if there's 160,000 people, if you have 50,000 people playing your game, first off, we live in America, and there's over 300 million people in this country. There's over 7 billion people on the planet. This is a 7+ age-restricted game, and the majority of the people on the planet have cell phones. And it's free to play. So, I'm suggesting that if you only have about 150,000 people max following you between multiple social media platforms, and then there's only 7,000 people really playing, your game sucks. On Steam, is what I'm saying. If there are only 7,000 people playing on Steam, your game sucks. You're not about to just rock it and get an extra. You're not going to double that number, triple that number. It's like the player base you have is what you got. And if you can't keep the people you have right now with what you're doing, your game is going down in the tank, bro. Now, you might say it doesn't cost us much to keep the lights on. That's fair. That might be the case. But your game's not fun, and you're going to keep losing players because you're losing me, and I've given you a lot of money compared to most. So, the next thing is, most of the cards in the game are trash. All of them, most, if not all of them, are boring. Wasp, boring. I mean, we can go through them all. Wasp, boring. Yellow Jacket, boring. Elektra, boring. Agent 13, Squirrel Girl, Misty Knight, Nightcrawler, Quicksilver, Rocket Raccoon. I mean, we can keep going. We just in the ones right now, man. They just trash. Adam Warlock, trash. Forge. Who playing Forge? Forge is a 2-1. He trash. You guys have all these cards in the game that are so trash. There's no incentive in playing them. And then what's the funny part about it is Killmonger just come out and kill them all. One fell swoop. So it's just, there's so much you need to do. Let's talk about this another thing. Your bugs and actual broken cards are just unacceptable, right? I have 6,000 tokens plus right now sitting in my token shop, 7,300. I want to buy Kitty Pryde. I can't buy Kitty Pryde. Why is that? Because you and your team didn't do your due diligence second dinner to make sure that this card was not broken before you released it. And now what? I was having bad experiences playing people who had Kitty Pryde before I was able to purchase it. You had to shut her down. It's been now over a week, and now I want to play with this new card and I can't play it. Just unacceptable. And then the last thing I want to bring up, and then in another video I'll go over the specific cards and the changes I think that need to be made, is that I have to use third-party applications to improve my gaming experience. I have to use Marvel Snap Zone. I don't even like Marvel Snap Zone. Their aesthetics, the way they're designed, it looks so boring, looks so trash. But look how they could they quickly put that website up, and Marvel Snap couldn't do it themselves. And then I'm using Untapped GG, right? A lot of players, I would guarantee that you're losing because you just don't have vision, right? If you had vision, you rely on your brain, and you think, oh man, first off, a card could get discarded, you don't even know the card is discarded. A card could get destroyed, you turned away. I mean, it's like split seconds. A stupid location pops up, takes a card from your hand, gone. You don't even know it was there. So, the fact that I have to use Untapped GG, not only does Untapped GG show me what's in my deck, it shows me the cards they play in their deck, and then it gives me a nice visual on the right hand side when you start up a game. And then I can see, oh man, it looks like they're playing this style of game. After the game is over, you can click on the deck, it'll show you the style of deck. So I'm telling you, when you play against people, especially if you happen to play against people on the PC, they have a huge edge. We already know the bots have an edge. The bots just know. Like, the bots are so frustrating because you could tell when you're less than level 40, first off, you play nothing but bots all the way to where you get to like 80 and 90. But here's the worst part for me. I'm playing infinite players and I'm at level 40. Now, granted, I got a large collection level, 9,164, but this shows you how broken this is. I'm playing nothing but infinite players, and I'm at level 40. I was playing nothing but infinite players the season before when I got to level 70. I was literally I should have gotten a better reward, because if I actually made it to infinite last season, or if I make it to infinite this season, which we know that ain't gonna happen if you heard what I said earlier, because I don't give a rip, I should get even better reward. Because it's like I had to beat the bouncer at the front door just to get into the club, but I had to beat the bouncer at my house as I walked out my front door, at my door of my car before I got in my car, then at the stoplight, every time I got stopped, I had to get out the car and beat the brakes off the bouncer. Then I beat the bouncer at the front door of the club. By the time I got to the club and I'm in the club, I should get a lot more than just popping bottles. When the average person could just drive straight to the club and enter in, and the bouncer would just let them in. I had to fight this dude every step of the way. So I had to fight infinite player after infinite player after infinite player just to get to level 70. I saw it. Card backs looking sexy. Card backs doing I saw the titles. I saw the avatars. I'm getting rocked. And I'm like, bro, before you had me season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, 5, and bump you, bro. I'm done. Because I'm not about to put in 8 hours a day. I've drastically changed how many hours I play. It's stupid. If you're going to play that much, you should get a reward. And if I have to play that long, for that many days, just to get me some stupid credits and this monkey looking Omega avatar and 500 gold and a gold card back that I can get the same one in black, bump you. You don't care about me. You don't respect me. This is not enough. I should get like 5 card backs. I should get like 3,000 gold. Make that worth it. Bro, if you get to infinite, you could buy $100 pack. How about that? We're going to give you 8,000 gold if you get to infinite. And we're going to give you 4 different infinite card bags. Guess what? Your boy Lemesis is grinding for that. Oh, word? I can make my money back? I can get my money back for the money I spent so that the next pack that comes out is free to me? Let's go. So, they need to make it worth it. And I don't care, man. These cats, don't tell me, like, I know that... I'm not going to get into the argument about teching and developing. I have a lot of experience in that because that's my background. So I don't think a lot of this stuff is as difficult as they claim it to be. But we're not going to argue that, right? It's about having the right people to do the right job. If you have the wrong people doing the wrong job, that's when you're going to suffer. But if you have the right people doing the right job, everything should work out perfectly. So, I shouldn't have to download third-party applications just to make my gaming experience fun. I should have all these things tracked directly in the system to go back from the origin of when I first played. This game has so many problems, and it's going to lead me to not playing this game anymore. So that's about it I have for you today. The next video I come out with, stay tuned. I'm going to go over, probably going to make it like 1 card per video. I'm just going to go over my ideas on what we need to do to buff the card and potential cards that I think can counter those cards. It feels like I need to do the work for Second Dinner in order for them to make this game great. I don't think they can ever bring the popularity back in this game. I think that ship has sailed. It would be extremely difficult to convince people who have already deleted this game to re-download this game. I don't even know how you're going to get a hold of them, right? Because I know once I'm done, you ain't getting a hold of me. I'm out. So I'm on my last thread. I don't know you guys how you feel. Let me know in the comments. This is your boy, the Lemesis. I'm always your nemesis, but you can call me Lem. Peace, love, and hap. I will talk to you later.